We've got all the cameras adjusted. I'm really liking the AI human and auto detection. So why did we want a security system? Well, let me tell you what. It was Memorial Day weekend. It was about 12 years ago. And I had my trailer parked in the backyard. Come out following Memorial Day, and the back doors have been blown wide open. Everything's been cleared out. Every single power tool, every bundle of wire, everything of value, everything that could be sold at a pawn shop, totally gone. That was about a $5,000 loss at the time. Second incident, I had reinforced my garage door so that nothing could get through. Unfortunately, the backyard was accessible by truck, so they pulled in, backed the bumper of the truck up to the walk door on the garage, and popped it in with the force of probably a F-250 or something. And so they cleared that out. Third incident, catalytic converter. Fourth incident, catalytic converter. Fifth incident, catalytic converter. It can get discouraging at times. The VP of bankruptcy for Simon Malls says that there are two places where all the most terrible things happen: the parking lots and the bathrooms. We're not putting any of these cameras in the bathrooms, but we sure are gonna monitor all of the walkways and driveways and parking spaces. So ONWOTE sent us this security system, which was timely because we just moved into our new shop and getting things ramped up. But I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. Let's take a look at what's in the box. And speaking of box, we had boxes within boxes within boxes. There was outer packaging on top of this, and we went ahead and unboxed everything for you just so we didn't waste your time. All right, so everything in front of this blue stripe came in the box. We've got a network video recorder. That means it's accessible anywhere you've got an internet connection. This is a 4 terabyte. For 8 4K cameras running round the clock, that's about a day of recording, but these will be utilizing smart AI human detection, and I'm not gonna have them on 24/7, I don't think, unless I'm dissatisfied with the human detection. Got the power cable, got a mouse, USB-A, plugs right into the front of the NVR for controlling the settings, like that. With the cameras, they've come equipped with power over Ethernet, which means that the communication cable, this guy here, the communication cable, is also the power cable to the cameras. This is a great option for our shop because we don't have Wi-Fi coverage complete and strong out in the warehouse, and it's about 200 feet. So I wanted a really reliable connection, and I didn't want to rely on wireless connection because we've got metal siding, and that broadcast through the metal siding could be jeopardized. With the cameras, they've also got an identifier to show you that power is on. That little LED diode, that's going to illuminate. Waterproof connector, which is pretty cool, with a grommet. Grommet comes pre-slit, so you just slide that over the cable for the installation like that, and then plug it through here and make that all up. So that's a nice little feature. Strain relief, waterproof connection, and I probably not getting it back out. I will say that it's just universal. It's a universal problem. The hardware that comes with any type of system, whether it's your TV or anything else, is junk. That stuff is totally crap, in my personal opinion. So we're upgrading our hardware to standard plastic anchors. These can be found anywhere, but the ribbing has a lot better grab. These, we tried them and they were just spinning and weren't grabbing. So we're gonna throw those in the trash. We're gonna utilize what we utilize on every job. Each camera came equipped with a 60-foot cable. This is a 60-foot Cat 5, and we're actually going to be extending some of our runs well beyond 60 feet. So we've got a couple options. We can use an RJ45 coupler like that and plug it in one end to the other, utilize some of these cables, but regardless, we're gonna come up short. So I'll be showing you how to utilize your own Cat 5s to make your own ends and extend those runs quite a bit farther. Like I said, we're about 200 feet. Now 8 cameras did come in the pack, however 2 of them are already being installed as we speak, so they're out the door. This network cable was also provided. It's pre-made, and that connects our NVR to our internet router in our data hub. Now everything behind the blue line, this is everything that I've supplied. And I'm gonna do this project like an electrician, which might be a little different than a homeowner or a cable guy. I've got my BMP 21 Plus Brady label maker. I love this thing to pieces. I've got extra labels. I'm gonna label every cable in a neat and tidy fashion so that during the installation nothing gets mixed up, and if the system goes dark we'll know exactly where all the cable runs are, make troubleshooting easier. I've got OSI quad. This stuff is probably 5x better than silicone. It's so good, it will not shrink or crack. It'll outperform in tough situations. This is the mounting hardware I talked to you about. Safety glasses. I'm going to be drilling metal siding and removing ceiling tiles. Both of those are a recipe for getting crud in the eyes. Utilizing some sharp tools. So of course I'm using my cut resistant gloves. Got a Phillips screwdriver. Got a basic pair of wire stripper cutters. These are Milwaukee's, love those guys. Got my fish sticks. This is gonna make pulling that cable a lot easier. See, I can couple 3 or 4 of these together and I'll be able to push that Cat 5. The Cat 5 has no rigidity of its own. It's entirely floppy. So I'm going to reduce the number of times that I need to set up my ladder, climb down my ladder, climb up my ladder by connecting this Cat 5 to the end of my fish sticks, combining 4 of these fish sticks together and taping it. I've got zip ties for wire mounting. I've got pop-in connectors. These are bushings that are going to protect my cable when it passes through the metal siding. So that's just a quick and easy bushing, no drip caulk gun. RJ45 connectors. I'm going to utilize these and these 2 tools, a stripper and a crimper, to make up my RJ45 ends on the end of my Cat 5. I'll show you exactly how to do that. And because I'm a pro and doing this like a pro, I've got accessories in the low voltage category, both tools and materials standing on hand. But if I utilize anything that I haven't shown you here today, I will make that known to you, no surprises. We're utilizing this monitor, which we just had lying around. Any monitor with HDMI input works. Here I've got my DeWalt 20 volt driver. This is gonna drive my fasteners with a Phillips number 2 bit. I've got my DeWalt 20 volt drill with a step bit on it. The step bit is gonna easily drill the right size hole for both these anchors and these grommets. Now let's step over to the data hub and we'll take a look at where everything's going to be housed and where we're pulling our cable from. I have the privilege of having Malachi, my oldest son, and Zeke, the second son. So we got a brother team, and then Jesse and Marcus, also Jefferson Electric team members helping us out today, and their brothers. So it's all in the family today. All right, right here's the data hub. We've got structured wiring systems for internet. We have structured life safety systems, smoke detection, fire alarms, security in the form of door, window, motion sensors. We also have our main internet connection, and we're gonna be adding the NVR to this closet. So it's gonna be tight. Now the NVR is pretty sweet in that it's 4 terabyte. However, you can get expansion packs, and so you can conceptually take that a lot larger. I will say red always indicates fire alarm. If you see red cable, if you see red cabinets, if you take those offline, you're probably going to get a call from the monitoring folks, and you might get a visit from the fire department. So when doing a commercial installation, always be mindful. Red indicates fire and life safety. You don't want to touch it. This sweet little baby is a 16 channel. We're only using 8 today, so we have plenty of room for expansion. And any HDMI output you've got, like our monitor we showed on our parts table, will receive this. So we'll have both remote as well as on-site ease of monitoring. As you can see, the closet's already full. I think what we're gonna do is rig up some brackets to mount that NVR right there. The structured cabling will come in the top side. Our mouse will reach to our little impromptu workstation here, and we won't inhibit accessibility to any of the cabinets. And that location, I do like that location.
Well, this is where she has it on there, and I just walked the outside perimeter with Angel to make sure on her stars.
No, the location is good, but what I'm saying is I don't know that we can get a hand in from the inside. Can we? We can?
Make sure.
Let's do a larger hole and do a Romex connector. Okay. Perfect.
That's where I was just...
Nice, nice. Let's do just a whatever size we need, 3/4 inch Romex connector through the metal to protect it from getting damaged.
Okay.
I like it. I like it. Here you go. We're gonna do it this way. You and Marcus will do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, you know that's the inside. We were gonna try to do the outside before it starts getting too hot because it's gonna be up in the 90s and stuff today. So
Right.
me and Marcus are trying to get these. That would be this one, and that one, and this one back here.
Okay.
Before it gets way too hot, we figured we'd do the inside and when it's the hottest of the day.
Cool.
But it's whatever you want to do, boss.
I think when we pull 1, 2, actually these 3, what we're gonna wanna do is come from our hub and probably just pull straight across the ceiling, and when we get here, that one will turn and go that way. When we get here, this one will turn and that one will turn. So we're gonna pull all 3 cables at the same time. But I'm okay going ahead and get the outdoor locations established, drilled, and then we'll be ready to pull cable to them.
Okay.
Okay, coolio.
This is the longest run, and the roof height changes a couple of times throughout, so I have to take a bit of a circuitous route to get here. I think this building has had multiple additions, and so getting from one room to another may be impossible because they have half-inch steel between the rooms that we're not going to be drilling through. So we pulled a second wire after we had pulled about 60 feet of the previous wire. We attached another Cat 5 cable to that wire so that we could pull this distance at the same time, and it actually ended up being about the perfect amount of distance so that we can get a camera on that side of our warehouse. So there are loops hanging below the joist line. We'll come back through and support those once we've done all of our wire pulls and make it look much neater. We had 2 wires pulled, so I couldn't identify them easily. What I should have done is I should have wrote on this box where I was pulling each wire, and then I would know when I cut it what to label it, but I didn't do that. So we ended up having to pull on the wire where we knew it was going, and then have another person standing here to tell me which wire I pulled on, and then labeled it that way. It's much better to think ahead and label things beforehand than to do it. It takes longer to do it the other way, the way we did it. These 2 stars are where we ran the previous 2 lines, and we will be running these 2 lines now along one wall and then across. So we've got the stock room, the office space to run now. And typically I only write in legibility that I can read, because I'm the only one that matters. For the finished product, we will have labels that are neatly written or on a label maker so that it's easily distinguishable for the next person. But it doesn't matter right now too much. We'll actually tape both of these on so we can pull them at the same time. Don't tape over your labels because then you can't see them to pull them off later, because we'll be pulling this off at separate locations. You want to tape on the shorter shorter distance one on second, so that when you untape it, you still have the longer distance one on your fish stick, so you can continue your run. So the run takes kind of a sharp turn here, so I'm pulling extra slack. I'm pulling slack here so that the pull through there will be smoother, and we won't be yanking on this fragile wire and damaging it. Huh? Oh. Push that back in the wall. Yeah, hold on to this. Or pull the conduit out. The tube. Pull it this way. And then you see where our wire is taped?
Oh, yeah.
Make sure it's getting through the conduit.
There we go.
And then you can push that conduit back in the wall.
All right, one of the last steps is gonna be caulking up around the cameras. We're choosing to go all the way around the camera, and that way we're gonna seal from water all 3 mounting holes and the penetration for the wiring. So, guys, it's looking really good.
Thank you. These are the Cat 5 wires that we ran to each of the cameras. Now I'm gonna plug them into the back of the NVR in channels 1 through 8. Because that's what we decided to do. This is just the power cable. Plug into the back. We'll just manage these wires up into the ceiling out of the way.
Hey guys, we're making terminations around the shop, and I'm here in the warehouse. This was a really important place for me to have a camera because warehouse work is relatively high risk. We've got lots of stuff, room for crush hazards, trip hazards, fall hazards. We've got vehicles backing in and out all the time. And so I'm gonna take a moment to show you how to make the Cat 5e termination for the warehouse camera. Check it out. We do have 2 specialized tools. You don't have to have this tool. It's just a stripper, but man, it's easy. You can spin it a few times, and then a little bit of pressure. Oops, a little more pressure. Slide it off. Now your conductors are exposed. These are 24 gauge conductors, so take it easy. That's a strip. Whoops. That's a strip wire that can be used. So let me show you another method here. Cut that off. And if you need to use that strip wire because you don't have the tool, get it started, grab that thing, and then just pull it up and it'll cut through the jacket. See that? Now you can peel it back. Use a knife to cut that off. Go easy. Easy, tiger. Oh, there it is. A little slower, can be done. Boom. Now we're down to our 8 24 gauge conductors. The job at hand is to unravel the conductors. Take all the twist out of them. These are called twisted pair. The twisting actually improves the signal. So it's very intentional by the manufacturer. But at the terminations, you've got to untwist. So get your fingernail in there, pry the teeny tiny conductors apart until you get them all fanned out. Now you've got your conductors all fanned out and straightened up. You can look up online, Type B, Cat 5e Type B, just look that up and it'll give you the pin configuration. So I've got my phone propped up here and I'm following that because I don't do this that often. I'm more on the power side than the data side. Now you just follow that pin out, grab the conductors, just keep sliding to the end, get them laid out in the exact same fashion. We've got white orange, orange, white green, I'm going to tuck them over, blue, white blue, green, white brown, brown. All right, now that I've got them in there, I'm going to work them. I'm going to hold them real tight at the base, then I'm just going to work them back and forth. And that's going to cause them to start to seat into a nice, really clean fan shape, all side by side. I'm going to check it to make sure they're not falling out of sequence. This is real important. It's easy to mess up. I always have additional RJ45 connectors on hand, and in fact 2 of them did reverse based upon how they're coming out of the jacket. There we go. So
So check that and wiggle up and down, left to right, and that's gonna cause those boogers to seat right in there. Let me stress again, have extra RJ45s on hand because it's just easy enough to mess this up. All right, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna take my pin. I'm gonna do tab side down, which is how I've got the configuration. There's the, this tab is gonna depress onto the jacket, and then once I crimp it with this guy, that's what's gonna cause it to hold. So I'm gonna set it right there. I'm gonna cut it to length, which is here. I'm gonna double check my sequence. Ooh, it's getting a little sloppy. If your camera's not working, this is probably the first thing you wanna check. Human error on the installation of the RJ45 ends if you're using other than factory cables. Almost there, almost there. All right, all right, all right, all right. There it is. Now, you've got two options on this particular tool, the 6-pin and the 8-pin. We're using the 8-pin. 6-pin is like antiquated telephone junk. And squeeze it down till it releases. That's it. Give it a little tug test. Looks good, feels good. Confident in that. Now, thankfully, this connector, this waterproof connector right here is designed to fit over the top of the Cat 5s, so you don't have to remember to put it on beforehand. And then you've got a slit in the grommet right there. That grommet or gasket is gonna slide in, and it's time to climb the ladder. Get this thing situated. Clean the dust out of there. I don't want anything inhibiting a good connection. Clicks right in, nice and clean. Here in the warehouse, I don't need this. Ooh, look at that, reverse it, bring it up top here, plug it in. I don't need waterproofing, but I do still want strain relief. And this grabs pretty tight, so I'm happy about that. And that's what I'll be using it for. If it gets jerked, it's not gonna destroy my connection. The cable's caught and pulled. Cap off the unused. We're so close we can smell it. Like literally smell it. And we probably have one termination that's mismade. We'll get that squared away. We've got all the cameras adjusted. I'm really liking the AI human and auto detection. It detects automobiles. Super sweet. It seems to be accurate. We'll see how it performs at night. Again, if I've got a dissatisfaction about this, I'm gonna post a follow-up. But man, so far so good. It's been incredibly user-friendly. I'm used to using Schwann from Costco. Not to put them down, but this is better. There's no question about it. And cheaper. So there are lots of settings to go through. The microphone seems to pick up pretty well. That feature works nicely. Configuring to smartphone was pretty seamless as soon as we remember to plug in the internet connection. So we do camera installations for customers about once a year. Not all that much, but I've probably used 4 or 5 different camera companies based upon products that customers have purchased, and I would definitely recommend ONWOTE from this point forward. From an installation standpoint and what I've experienced at the console, pretty darn good. Subscribe to Electric Pro Academy for real skills to make real money.